Carving a hot dog? I don't know about that one. Comgrow reached out to me and asked if I'd like to review their Comgo Z1 Laser. So sure, why not? People are used to seeing smoke on my channel, but let's do it on purpose this time. I have a laser engraver thing. It's basically 2 CD-ROM trays with a little diode laser. I suggest not getting one of those. So start out with a real one this time. This box is extremely light. Let's go ahead and open it. And here we have the Comgo Z1 Laser Engraver Manual. It has a parts list, build instructions, and also it has some settings for like LightBurn and laser gurgle. Get you going. Again, this box is really light, and you only get one layer here, so you don't have to worry about anything underneath this foam. Here's the control box. There's no display on it, just plugs right in. And it is a 32-bit board with silent steppers. It's Wi-Fi, and it's right now for Android only. And now here's the gantry. We have 2 Y steppers and a manual Z. Do not forget to wear your safety glasses here. Don't really want to be looking at the laser with your bare eyes. Cherish those eyes. It's the only pair you got. There's a power adapter. Kind of familiar like with laptops, but this is a 24 volt 4 amp power adapter, so that's just not plugging that into your laptop. Here is a real 5-watt laser diode. A lot of manufacturers will use the output of the power adapter and claim it's the output of the laser. Here's 4 legs, standoffs, risers. Well, 3 more legs than what I have. Let's try to get all these extrusions out. Some of them are pretty deep in here. So here are your aluminum extrusions. Again, these are pretty darn light. We have a USB Type B cable. We find these on most desktop printers. Here's a parts/tool bag. And what else? I think we got one more item in the box. Yes, we do. We have some plywood samples. All right, we'll get to definitely try some of those out. Let's save that bear's tablecloth, shall we? Okay, we have 4 bolts. That's going to connect all our frame pieces together. Rather simple. First, we're going to just go ahead and make the square and start screwing all the screws in. Just not all snug here. What I'm going to do is actually play Comgrow's build video in the upper right hand corner. There'll be a link in the description below. I was just actually watching their build video over mine because it is a very well done build video and it walks you through all the steps. I went a little bit rogue on mine, but I was still able to get it assembled in less than 10 minutes. That was even with the video editing portion. Yeah, I mean, it was very straightforward. When you see only 1 screw on each side, you realize that the legs actually secure the frame and make it stiff. The toughest part was putting these belts in on the sides. Just feeding it through the rollers, and you're basically using a T-nut type thing to hold the belts against the extrusions. Now you gotta make sure that you're just nice and snug, try to get equal tension on both sides, and that there's no binding when you move it back and forth. I didn't want to set the machine upside down, but it's so light I didn't really have to worry about it. That's actually why I didn't follow the build instructions the first time. But with assembling the Z that holds the laser on. Now that was a little bit kind of reversed. They had part of it pre-assembled and you actually have to take it apart and mount it the correct way. The Z has 3 sets of mounting holes on each side, and that gives you a range of heights. And you could basically have a pretty tall part in here. Nice clearance. And the next steps, we're just going to plug in both Y stepper motors. Pretty easy, and the cable is right there on both sides. Plug in one. And then we'll turn it around and plug in the other one. Easy peasy. Now all the wiring is almost done. All we have to do is connect the laser, and that will be it. Once fully assembled, after you plug in the laser, it's 400 by 400 with a 105 Z. Man, like I said, this thing is super light, but it's very rigid at the same time. It definitely has a nice, good, solid build quality to it. Time for the legal disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. You are following these instructions at your own risk. Always wear approved eye protection. People and animals not wearing protection should stay away. I'm not responsible if you do not become a pro after watching this video. I decided to go with LightBurn. I heard great things about it. I'm not affiliated with them, but yeah, it's free software is free for a reason. When you start up LightBurn, it's going to ask simple things from you that Comgo provides, basically the machine dimensions. It's going to be 115/200 baud rate, a value of 1,000. And then also I was on 3DHP's weekly hangout, and Astro Printer was on, and I was having some difficulty with lasers, and he said, hey, did you set up your diode in LightBurn? No, I didn't. Well, he gave me these parameters, which basically when you select diode, it's the default, and things started working a lot better. I'll link to his channel below. And then you also want to just verify machine settings. These values worked fine for me, so hopefully they'll work fine for you as well. You also want to make sure that you set your origin. Origin will be where you want it to start with the engraving. I just make mine dead center, 200 by 200. You set your origin, and you're pretty much good to go. So again, I'll link Astro Printer's YouTube channel on the bottom, same with Jerry from 3DHP for helping me out. I suggest if you have any questions, those weekly hangouts, sometimes they're knowledgeable, and sometimes it's just a lot of fun. Now I'm going to direct you to Comgrow's website, because there's actually a bit of information here that's useful for engraving and cutting. They have a set of parameters here. I have the 5-watt laser, and for engraving, we want to just follow these set of parameters. We got the wood board, bamboo, solid wood, leather, glass, ceramic, acrylic, stainless steel, iodized metal, and fabric. You have the percentage for power as well as speed. For cutting, you have the same thing, for it tells you the thickness and what you're going to be cutting, the speed and the power. So let's get to some testing. You'll notice that there's a plastic shield on this laser. This is just for added protection. It's also that you should always wear eye protection. That shield should be about 2 millimeters off your surface. And I have a little trick for you to get pretty much the same distance no matter what. I'll show that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and watch some test prints real quick.
Begin laser.
After doing some testing, I decided that this machine really needs what's called a spoil board / waste board. I need to remove this control board so that I could slide this piece of NBF, just setting right above the legs. What's good about a spoil board waste board is that you can engrave it with some measurements, and if say the laser goes over it, it will go into the spoil board instead into some plastic tablecloth. Yeah, that wasn't a great idea. So I went shopping online. I found this nice grid, 400 by 400. There was a little bit of a problem with it, but I'll mention it at the end of the video. But I think it came out great. You get help center your items on here. If you want, you can make some peg holes, and you can just fasten the parts down. It's great. And then, you know what? You mess it up after using it many times, just cut another one. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the control box back on. because I had to again slide the MDF, on top of the legs, because the laser could not drop down far enough. So now I could just set it on top. You can secure the feet if you want, but it's such a light machine, unless it's going to get bumped, you don't have to worry about it. Home it and get ready for your next engraving / carving. So let's go ahead and try to engrave some glass. I learned this technique by watching Pawpaw's workshop, and he just said, let's go ahead and clean some glass first. Of course, he used some heavy-duty cleaning agent. Well, this is just a test, so I'm just going to wipe it down with some Windex and a nice nut-free towel here. And the special ingredient that Pawpaw's workshop said to use was a special type of washable paint. And it just washes off with water. It's pretty cool. It's called Tempera Paint. I got this off Amazon. It's only $9.51 a bottle. And you just go ahead and squirt some on. And we're going to just take a regular foam brush and spread it around. After we get that little piece of whatever off of there. And you just want to make sure it's nice and even. You don't want it too thick or too thin. Basically, you don't want to see through the glass. And it settles really nicely. You'll see some high spots, but after it dries, it'll basically lay nice and flat. And we're going to just do a simple engraving here. We're going to use the recommended settings for engraving glass. Now I've had this laser engraver for about just over 2 weeks now, and this glass isn't the only thing that I engraved, trust me, as you can see. Yes, I've kicked the tires on this thing for a while now. I just wanted to see what it can do. And this was done with 2 passes. I just wanted it a little bit darker and see if I could kind of make the grain on the right hand side get a little bit darker, but that's what you fight with wood. So if you have different grains, it's going to leave different colors, and it's actually embossed a little bit for only 2 passes. But yeah, it came up really sharp. Nice detail. And the lighter the color, the more difficult it's going to be to do an engraving. And I decided to try white. This was with 2 passes, and it still did pretty well. You can see that it's got some problem. This is just paint. I did it on a lighter setting, and yeah, this was about 60% power. I just wanted to see what it would do. Not much, but still 100% power at 2500 did the right thing. Now here is when I tried to do cutting. I went with the recommendation that Comgrow did was 1 pass, 100%. This is 3mm at 120 speed. Unfortunately, this took almost 3 passes. You could see right there, it should have been 3 for that little piece that was still stuck on. But if you want to get rid of some of that fraying, just put down some blue painter's tape over it before you start burning through. Now, this was really cool. I did this with 3 passes, and wow, you could actually see it's embossed. You can feel it and you can see it. And this was at lower power. I did this at about 75% power, 3 passes. I have to say, that came out great. It almost looks like it was CNC milled. Amazing. And this was some of the tests that were on the other side. But I could see where you could definitely have some fun with it. You can see in the grain, like I said, the grain definitely offsets your basically your grayscale. Next, we have these Christmas ornaments. I thought this was pretty cool. All I am is just etching off the paint, and I wanted to see how far I could go on the curve. And this was one that I kind of finalized what I was doing. I did 100% power at about 1000 speed, and this was my test one. So I just went around. You could see that it did not. I had less than the power on that one and didn't get to the curves. I did 100% on that one. And again, I was messing around different sizes, and you can see that it didn't get the curve on that one, but almost got that one. So definitely want to use 100% power to get through all those edges like that one. that came out almost perfect. And what you can do is you could just do that and use a Christmas light off of your strand and light it up. So I decided then that with glass or with acrylic, you should have a paint or a Sharpie go over it. This was done with a Sharpie, again with the recommended settings, and you could barely see it. So I would suggest for engraving with the glass that this was 100% power at a speed of 700. Yeah, you can barely see the engraving on it. Next, let's see here. We will take the glass. And this glass came out real nice, but you gotta remember when you are using a paint that it's black, and you can see some black remnants behind, because that's how it's going to engrave it. But it still came out really, really nice. It's hard to focus on here. I could feel that it's embossed a little bit. There we go. And yeah, came out really good. That the words are very crisp and clean. And this was just a dollar glass from Dollar Tree. And let's try some metal. This is basically aluminum business cards, painted. These are blanks. You can get like 100 of them for like $6 on Amazon or something like that. And you can see that the lettering is great, but the pictures are not. I tried different speeds, and yeah, it's the lettering is just really, really crisp. But for a photo, it doesn't do well at all. But it's a business card, right? And last but not least, I decided to do stainless steel. This was my best result, and these are dog tags that I found on Amazon. And it seems like the more reflective it is, the harder it is. So you can see this one's really reflective on the bottom, and you barely see it. And then the best result I had is this one, because it just, one pass, it just worked. I think it's just because it's not a highly reflective surface. Now, I know there's some more interesting things that we could carve up. I know all of you have been waiting for, can it do carvings on food? Well, here's a cracker. Let's see what it can do. It's 100% power, going at 700 speed. Let's see how crispy it looks. And what are the results? Ha, that is really crispy. It's actually really crisp wording down there. Say they have a special occasion, birthday, bar mitzvah, Christmas or something. Yeah, you can add something a little pizzazz to your hors d'oeuvres there. Uh-oh. What's this? We're not going to do that, are we? Oh, well, we have to at least do the buns first, right? I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. So let's see what we can do with a hot dog and a bun. You know, I know that we're having fun with this and all, but just think about this as your finger. Okay? You don't want your hands anywhere close to this. So I'm using the same settings I did on the cracker as on the bun and the hot dog. And I went ahead and I nuked the hot dog for a little bit, and this is what I wrote on it. And is it safe to eat? Well, you bet. And it tastes good too. Awesome. So what are my final thoughts of this delicious machine? Well, the machine was very easy to assemble. It's very light, and it just works right out of the box. 2 weeks, I was able to get results like this. Imagine what results you can get after a few more weeks or a couple months. I mean, the machine is definitely capable, and it's only a 5-watt diode laser. Very crisp lines, and you know what? It does a really good job. Now, there's only a few negatives here. When you hit home and it does this, chances are there's the coil wire that is hitting the end stop on the right hand side of the machine. So you need to pay attention to that. Remember that 400mm grid that I carved for the wasteboard? Well, had some difficulties getting it to the max on the X and the Y. It just didn't want to do the 400. So what did I have to do? In the upper left, I'm at like 380.5. So if anyone has tried to max out this machine, please let me know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe this is just where it stops. Now the Comgo also has a safety feature. Say that it gets knocked over on its side, the laser will automatically turn off. So will definitely help against fire hazards. Also, that little trick that I was talking to you about, grab an SD card. Yep, it's about 2mm thick. All you have to do is put that underneath your little protective shield there, and you got the perfect height. Just figured I'd help you guys out with that one. Nice little trick that I found. Thanks again for tuning in to Tripod's Garage. Please have a wonderful day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. We'll catch you again on Tripod's Garage.